Hey, it's Tim here. In this one, I'm just talking to the camera, nothing to share other than to close out the year on the channel. Yes, seems a bit odd closing out the year in November, end of November, but this is actually when I typically reevaluate the channel. You might have even noticed things like my thumbnails have changed because yes, I actually review a lot of the stuff around the channel round about this time, and then I change it for the year ahead around about this time. But I'm winding down for a couple of important reasons. It is nearly the year end. This time last year, I wind down at this point because I had a son that I welcomed into the family. And in the next few weeks, fingers crossed, we're hoping for another arrival as well into the family. So we'll be 5 strong here in the Nguema family. And we're super excited for that. So in essence, I need to be winding down for that because, you know, I need to be present and fully involved with all of that. Now, in terms of the channel itself, we're going into 2022 and we've got a couple of exciting things that we want to do. The first one is I'd love to do a review of Tableau 2021 in general. I'd love to review all the features that came out. So if you've got some thoughts about that, let me know what you think. There's also a bunch of content around 21.4. I'll make that as and when I can, and then I'll put it out essentially. So that's obviously going to happen. It's hopefully going to come out in the next few weeks. I don't know when. So when it does come out, what you'll probably watch is something pre-recorded using the pre-release, but I'll obviously have to validate that the features haven't changed. So what I tend to do, if I do some pre-recording, I open up the actual release, double check things work the way they should be, check the release notes and the documentation. And if they work, I release the video. And if they don't, I re-record the video and talk about the bugs or whatever. So that will be sort of happening as and when 21.4 comes out. Now, in terms of the future of the channel, man, I don't want to sort of take this too seriously, but I think there's an important point here where we do need to change. The channel is called Tableau Tim, but when I did a survey asking, look, what people would want to see going forward in terms of other software, Alteryx came out top, but there was equally a lot of love for Snowflake and AWS as well in some other respects. And then obviously the other technologies around that with things like Fivetran as well. So just in terms of the survey I ran on LinkedIn and YouTube, I'll put these up on screen. It was really interesting to see the outcome of that. Okay. And so in order to cover those, I can't just have the channel called Tableau Tim because that would, in essence, send the wrong message to those communities if they joined. But also, Tableau Tim is me. That's sort of my identity. And we can kind of stop being narcissistic on this channel and find a better name that's more encompassing for the kind of content and the community that I'm trying to foster. So I think the channel name will probably change at some point next year. So look out for that. Look out for that when it happens. The other thing is, it might not just be me on the channel. To keep making content at the level that I make it and to keep I take a lot of pride in that. I take a lot of pride in making it at that level. I don't need to make it at that level. I could equally make content using a lot lower sort of resources and you know, capability, but I just enjoy doing it the way I do it. And that's sort of part of my identity. So I'm going to keep doing that. But what I do want to do is bring someone onto the channel as well to help make other content, because I'm not an expert at everything. Essentially, I learn from other people. And if I just continue to sit here and make videos about everything, you'll think that I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. I'm Tableau Tim. I think I know Tableau the best. So it might make sense to bring other people to make some of the other videos on the channel. So I'm not going to say who that is or when or whatever. When they're ready to make content on the channel, they'll make content on the channel and you'll see it. By that point, the name of the channel probably will have changed. So be sure to look out for that. And I think it's going to be a really interesting transition, because what it should mean for you is we'll be able to cover more topics and more content all at the same time, while still giving each and every bit of content the same focus that it has today, because we'll have 2 people making content, spending the same amount of time focusing on that content, and hopefully to the same standard as well that you've been used to as well. So that's something I'm really excited about. The very final thing is something that I call Tableau Sketchnotes. Now, 2 years ago, I made this explainer about what is Tableau. And when I released it, it went viral very quickly and it hit 2,000 views and sort of got forgotten about. And what happens is, though, YouTube sort of looks at the performance of videos and just starts sharing the video out to people when they search for content. And then Google does the same thing. And today we've arrived at 350 views. Okay. Not 350 views, 350,000 views, I should say. So that format worked really, really well. I noticed that roughly 6 months into the sort of analytics of the channel. And so I synthesized what I could from that. I synthesized what people liked from that. I took the comments and feedback and I put it into another video, explaining about Tableau Prep. Exactly the same format, exactly the same narration. Those are animated, edited, and done entirely by me. I do the whole entire thing. I write the script, I edit them, I narrate them, and then I put them on screen. That is an entirely end-to-end process done by me. Check out the blog post. I'll try and put it up on the screen. It's actually over here, not there. I can't get my bearings right. But nonetheless, I put it up on screen. That is an entirely intensive process. Those 10-minute videos take about a week. I'm talking like 7 proper working days to make. The first one took a lot longer because, of course, I was a new technique. I wasn't used to it. And they're still not great. They don't use proper animation skills, but the format works really, really well. And so what I've been thinking of doing is taking that format to the next level. What if next year I made slightly less content that you're used to? So some of the stuff I make throughout the year, maybe on specific angles or specific features, and I focused in on that specific technique. And more importantly, I helped with this initiative around data literacy. So not just showing you how to do things in Tableau, but adding the data literacy element to it. That's what those sort of Tableau Sketchnotes do already. They bring you into the world of Tableau without shoving Tableau in your face and explaining concepts to you in a very neutral way. Now, I've also had the opportunity to work on that format in other places. I've actually worked alongside Tableau, making a series of videos that they've called Picture This. Essentially, it was around COVID, talking about different areas of this particular pandemic and how data has been used to sort of turn it around. So you can go check that out on the COVID-19 Data Hub. A few of them are on YouTube. I'll put them up in the description as well, but you can also go check them out on the Tableau website. I've really enjoyed making those. The most prominent one was probably the Do No Harm guide. I actually had a lot of fun working with Tableau to make that. I just, brought it to life. I didn't sort of write the Do No Harm guide, but it was amazing to be part of that project. Really, really enjoyed it. So I've really sort of enjoyed getting this sort of really interesting narration and, storytelling format. And I think it works. I think it could work even better if it's given the focus and time. So that's why I've termed it Tableau Sketchnotes, because in many ways I'm taking what I think is a sketchnoting technique and I'm turning it into videos. But what I'd love to do is turn it back into a static format. So taking the video format that I've made and turning it into a static format, which will then make it a fantastic resource for the community to go and learn topics in pretty much any aspect of analytics, not just Tableau. So concepts, for example, concepts like joins and unions, all those kinds of things that have been explained multiple times, but I think we can put a really nice spin to it with this particular format. So I'm calling it Tableau Sketchnotes. You'll see a lot more about it on the channel. You'll see me mention it multiple times. I haven't got anything to show right now because everything is pretty much just a script and a template, as it were. But where I sort of see this going is that I hope to see this appear as a couple of things. I'd love it to go from video to a static format, a web page, some sort of resource that you could sort of use. And then I'd love it to go from that into a physical thing, something in your hand, not a book. I'm not a fan of books because I don't think they're accessible. That's just my opinion. You might have a different one, but the majority of the people that watch my videos are in countries that just don't have the economic models to support something like a book, especially once you factor in the fees in terms that, everyone who gets involved in publishing needs to put into them to make them a success. So books would be a good mechanism to do it, but I think I have to sort of make it far more accessible than that. So you might have something that ends up being like a book, but I'm not going to sort of do it in the traditional way, if that makes sense. It might be something that's maybe free to the community as an a digital edition or something like that, and then something that then comes out as more static, sort of substantial thing that will come out in a different format, something that can be shared, something that can be enjoyed by a group of people, because learning is also not sometimes a personal thing. Sometimes learning is a social thing, and I'd love this resource to be exactly that, something that you maybe use in a classroom context if you're a teacher, maybe use in an office context if you're a mentor to someone, and in an analytics context, maybe your organization training up your staff and you want some resources to help do that. This would hopefully be a great resource for that. So I'm super excited about it. If we're talking about when to expect to see this, like if everything works out, this will probably land at some point in like 2024, 2025. Like we're talking a really long time frame. The videos will come out starting next year, absolutely. But the final tangible thing, the thing that I have in my vision right now is 2024, 2025, that kind of time frame. So you'll see lots of small bits build up on the channel. You'll see new websites that I'll start talking about as well, that's separate to Tableau Tim. And you'll also maybe see new people here on the channel helping make that a reality. So that's me talking about the change that's coming. I think I really do need the help to kind of take this to the next level. But as and when I start to sort of call out on the community to sort of help with that project, you'll know about it first, obviously. And yeah, in other places where I am, things like Twitter and so on and so forth, you'll also see that. The very last thing is I think I need to sort of tone down on social platforms. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just think that there is so much... So my video cut out. But anyway, the time I spend on social platforms is probably some of the hardest time I sort of find justifying. So the platform I'm thinking of here is Twitter. Obviously, YouTube is a social platform, So of course, I spend a lot of time on YouTube because that's where the content goes. But in terms of other places I spend my time on, LinkedIn and Twitter, you might see me be less, what's the word? You might see me post less on those platforms. Okay, you might see me be less active. You might see me not replying to messages and not spending time, because I think what I need to do to make time for the things that matter back here at home, but also in my professional life and also with some of these projects I need to do, is to spend less time on those platforms and more time working on these things. Really focus on these things that I want to do. So that will mean that my Twitter profile will probably become more of a bot profile, because I will typically only maybe announce a video once a week. Rather than announcing every video, I'll probably only announce the odd one here and there. And on LinkedIn, rather than announce every video, I'll probably only announce the odd one here and there. And I'll probably announce more of the things I want you to sort of engage with, things like Tableau Sketchnotes and other stuff as well, when they are available and ready, because I kind of think I don't want to contribute to the noise that's sometimes generated on these platforms. Sometimes we get into this sort of hype fest where we have to be on these things every single day, data farm this, data farm that. And I think I'm falling into that trap a little bit. So I'm going to sort of step back from it, recede a little bit, let other people step up to the platform as well. There's so many other people making great content. There's just not enough time to keep up with it. So whilst I focus on the things I need to, I think you're going to see less of me on those platforms. But here on YouTube, you'll continue to see everything. So if you want to know the latest and greatest, subscribe. The other place you'll see me a lot is in my Discord. Yes, I have a Discord channel. I have 100 members, and I'm going to spend more time there because the people that come there essentially have engaged with the channel in some way or form. Interestingly, I don't sort of generally advertise the Discord. The people who've got there have either made it to the end of some content and found the link, or read the description and found it there. And they also know what it is, so they've gone and joined it. I need to sort of start building that community and cultivating that community as well. So I'm going to switch my focus to really serving the people in that community as best as I can, and using a bit of help to do that as well. So if you want to sort of keep interacting with me in a more sort of, interesting way, the comments on YouTube are going to be one of the best places, but then probably the other best place will be Discord. And with Twitter and LinkedIn, I'm just going to tone it down because I just don't think they are offering me any value at the moment for the things I want to work on and focus on. I think I know what I want to do, and those platforms really sort of designed to sort of distract you, if that makes sense. So to some people that will sound crazy, but for me, I think that's the really important thing to do. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's me closing out the year. That's me sort of setting the boundaries of what I want to work on and the changes coming up. I think it's fair to do this because it's super important, I think, to really value your audience. So if you have some opinions on that, let me know in the comments below. If you're excited, let me know in the comments below. If you want a sneak peek, let me know in the comments below. And I will from time to time reply to people and sort of bring them in some way or form and ask them if they'd like to sort of take part. Maybe I'll put a link to some sort of sign up form so you can kind of get a sneak peek of some of the stuff I'm working on. But in the Discord channel, this stuff will always be there. So I've already posted a few sneak peeks in there as well. So if you don't know what Discord is, I encourage you to try it, Google it. Think of it as Slack, but far less formal. Slack is like the professional Discord, if that makes sense. Discord is a very sort of unique platform. It's actually, designed by gamers. Slack was also designed by gamers, interestingly. They both have channels. They both have sort of, groups and stuff like that. In fact, some of the features in Slack, like huddles, have been copied from Discord. So I'm using Discord because it's free for communities. It's a great place to go. It has a bunch of features like screen sharing that, Slack just doesn't have. And it can also support really large groups of people, right from, 2 people getting on a screen share to do something, all the way to big groups of people. And it can even do things like live streams internally in the platform. So whilst things are hyped down, that's where I'm going to spend more time helping people. And if you head on in there, you'll find me sort of quite active as well. So that's me. I'll see you in 2022. Thanks for watching.